At Oak Island, Rick Lagena made a terrifying discovery. Rick Lagena made a horrifying discovery at Oak Island during the final excavation of the year, which strongly suggests that gold had been concealed in the money pit all along. They were focused on the excavation taking place in the B4C shaft in the money pit region and eagerly awaited significant advancements that could bring them closer to the elusive treasure chamber. The B4C shaft, located just 5 feet to the north of Borehole C, is steadily accumulating depth and is projected to reach approximately 90 feet. Recently, the crew discovered intriguing clues in the C1 cluster that indicate the presence of 15th century wooden tunnels. They also discovered significant quantities of silver and gold, which sparked rumors about the former location of the money pit, or the possible existence of a passage leading to a chamber containing valuables. Concerns have been raised as to how 15th century people were able to construct timber tunnels in light of these discoveries. Why was it constructed to begin with? What was the reasoning behind this? These made many individuals inquisitive, and at Oak Island, Rick Lagena made a terrifying discovery. The discovery of a conduit at the 90-foot level is believed to be an important indicator that they are getting closer to the original money pit. The crew eagerly anticipates each new discovery in the hope that it will lead to the finding of previously unknown treasures. The discovery of gold in the water lends credibility to their theory that the money pit was the source of the wealth. As they continue their excavation, they discover numerous fractured pieces of wood, but one object in particular piques their interest. It is a substantial iron fastener. Based on the primitive craftsmanship of the object, experts estimate that it dates back to the 1800s or even earlier. It is intriguing to note that it was written prior to the discovery of the money pit, suggesting that artifacts from a period prior to the money pit's discovery exist. A handcrafted spike is one of their discoveries, and it takes center stage among their other treasures. After recognizing the significance of each report, the team has reached the conclusion that further investigation of the spike is required. It is a valuable artifact that could provide insights into the history of Oak Island due to its weathered appearance, use of hand-forged raw iron, and evidence of aging. At approximately 130 feet down in the B4C shaft, the crew encounters a formidable obstacle in the form of bedrock. This poses them with a substantial challenge. Due to time constraints, additional excavations near the money pit will not be feasible this year due to an unanticipated difficulty. The fact that significant amounts of gold and silver have been discovered buried in the earth serves as a tremendous incentive for the presence of fire. They also discovered a piece of pottery, which provides additional insight into what the object may be. The images depict numerous kiln structures discovered by the University of York throughout Europe. They date back to the Roman era, proving that this technology is not new. Immediately, focus on the kiln on Lot 5. Observing the proximity to the water is intriguing. Regardless, let's dissect this and have some fun. First, visualize the mysterious setting in which we find ourselves. This location may be optimal for a covert operation. What if we told you a kiln could be hidden there? A kiln indeed. Consider alternative applications for this kiln before imagining a group of potters creating exquisite pottery. Our minds are racing and we are thinking about pipelines. Pipes indeed. This excellent hypothesis proposes Oak Island may contain a system of flood tunnels. What is this then? This is supported by evidence such as the valve and the cavity beneath the trapdoor. In this case, things are becoming increasingly intriguing. Perhaps intelligent infrastructure is used to construct the underground tunnels. They may be developing a hydraulic system to control the flow of water. However implausible it may seem, let's experiment with it anyway. It is prudent to use pipelines instead of open tunnels. The island's rugged terrain was only marginally suitable for tunneling. If water were to flow through certain areas, they might erode or collapse. Why then not utilize pipes to maintain a constant flow without endangering a collapse? At this point, things become even more pleasurable. Let's investigate the origins of pottery, my companion. We are discussing a technique that has existed since Roman times: clay pipes. Before, these pipelines were formed around a wooden structure, but it was difficult to connect them seamlessly. They ingeniously employed the potter's wheel, which originated in ancient Samaria around 3500 BCE. Incredible, right? Nevertheless, there's more. We should talk about glazing. You know, the protective layer that prevents water from permeating clay and causing damage to ceramics. Roman glazing techniques were extraordinarily inventive. They utilized salt, lead, and tin, invented later, to create an impregnable, complex covering. At this point, things begin to become somewhat chaotic. A pottery instructor asserts that adding saline or ocean water to clay causes its surface to bloom. The kiln firing process produces a beautiful salt patina. Can you imagine the ancient Romans using ocean water to produce these beautiful orange peel textured pipes? Mind-blowing. Let's discuss the pottery object discovered by Laird on the island. Laird believes it dates from the first half of the 18th century, but who knows? It could, after all, be a conduit. What is it? Though it does not appear to be a conventional straight pipe. Not every conduit needs to be straight. This component may be included in a conduit system with a radius of 12 to 14 inches. What is this then? Similar to the redware discovered on Oak Island, this object was crafted from clay. It could be a piece of the puzzle. Let us introduce you to the Romans once more. They were skilled at installing pipelines. Instead of using a single large conduit, they created these The enthralling tale of persistent search culminates in a horrible final excavation that rewrites history and challenges the human imagination. Prepare to be astounded because reality is more magnificent than your wildest dreams. It's the Lagena brothers again. During the final phase of excavation at Oak Island, they made a terrible discovery with their crew. On the 140 acres of the supposedly cursed Oak Island, the Lagena brothers and metal detector expert Gary Drayton have primarily discovered clay, wood, and metal implements. But they have also discovered a number of rare artifacts. But what precisely are these insanity-inducing discoveries they make during the final Oak Island excavation? As we unearth each piece of treasure discovered in the final section of The Curse of Oak Island, the truth becomes apparent. When the excavation reached a depth of 190 feet, a subterranean vault that had been concealed for a long time was discovered. There was an overwhelming sense of surprise and disbelief. The group cautiously entered the room as their pulses raced in anticipation. Inside its dimly lit confines, they witnessed an extraordinary sight. In front of them was a glittering tableau of extraordinary wealth, comprised of piles of gold and silver coins, antique artifacts, and priceless diamonds. The treasure was quickly estimated to be worth billions, making it one of the most significant discoveries in history. The artifacts disclosed a rich history, connecting Oak Island to antiquity and validating long-debated hypotheses. As news of the discovery spread like wildfire, it attracted the attention of historians, archaeologists, and treasure hunters all over the globe. As specialists dedicated their time to discovering the treasure's origins and legends, Oak Island became the focal point of the investigation. The Lagena brothers have spent their entire 9-season tenure searching for treasures buried on the island by the Knights Templar, British soldiers, or even Spanish pirates. In the Season 1 finale of The Curse of Oak Island, titled The Find, metal detectorist Steve Zazulik discovered a 8-inscribed coin while investigating a swamp. Later, it was determined that it was a copper Spanish 8 maravedis coin from the 17th century. In the Season 2 premiere, Once In, Forever In, the coin was cleansed and examined, revealing that 1652 was inscribed on the reverse. Additional examination of the coin revealed that it had been lost in the marsh for hundreds of years and was not a recently deposited object. All indications pointed to the fact that this was a legitimate historical discovery, the first of many throughout the program. Could this inconspicuous copper coin be evidence of previously undiscovered pirate treasure? The Lagena brothers appeared to be on the right track in their search for Oak Island's concealed wealth. In the second episode of the second season, Return to the Money Pit, treasure hunter Gary Drayton discovered not one, but 2 distinctive treasures while metal detecting. He made his first discovery near Oak Island's shore. Drayton and his associates discovered a button from a 17th century military officer's uniform, although it is unknown to which military it belonged. However, it could be evidence that the military was responsible for some of the confidential information on the island. In the interim, Drayton and his companions discovered their second find of the day in a nearby forest. A small coin that appeared to be a 17th century maravedi similar to the one discovered in the season finale of the previous year was concealed in the soil. Compared to other coins, however, This one was substantially smaller, perhaps the size of 2 Maravades as opposed to 8. Even though they are small, these incredible discoveries may point to a larger treasure. They had no idea that their ostensibly innocuous behavior would quickly turn into a scene from a horror film. As they excavated deeper, they discovered man-made stones and wooden boards, which gave them the impression that they were on the verge of a significant discovery. This heightened their anticipation that they were about to make an extraordinary discovery. We ponder what they will discover next on this mysterious island as the tension mounts. Their anticipation of discovering the long-lost treasure from the days of piracy caused their excitement to soar. They were unaware that what awaited them would be even more extraordinary than their wildest fantasies could have envisioned. As the young men delved deeper, they uncovered more boards concealing a sinister secret. Even though they labored diligently, their hand-digging efforts ceased at a depth of 20 feet. Nonetheless, this was not the conclusion of the horrifying discovery. When other individuals took over the excavation, they made even more astonishing discoveries. They encountered bizarre objects and additional platforms every 10 feet. At a depth of 90 feet, they would encounter the dreadful terror that awaited them. A mysteriously engraved stone was one of their discoveries. Conversely, the most horrifying revelation was yet to come. They were unaware that the pit they were investigating contained mines and led to a secret passage to the ocean. The question that haunted everyone was why someone would construct such a dangerous snare, designed to lure unwary individuals to their watery deaths. The implications of this discovery were unsettling to contemplate. Could it have been the work of a psychopath who attempted murder? Or does it have something to do with the island's rumored infamous curse? As the search for answers on Oak Island intensified, a palpable sense of dread and disquiet spread throughout the community. Despite terrifying encounters encountered along the way, the Oak Island team continued their quest for the elusive treasure with unwavering determination. When they were excavating in the region known as the Money Pit, they made the astounding discovery of significant silver and gold evidence at a depth of 90 feet. This discovery sparked speculation that they had discovered the approximate location of the original money pit, or even a corridor leading to a treasure-filled underground chamber. Both of these hypotheses were proposed as potential explanations for the discovery. The crew continued its investigation, unfazed by the disquieting discoveries made and the eerie atmosphere permeating the entire island. Instead, their determination to discover the truth behind the Oak Island enigma drove them forward. Do not neglect to subscribe and enable post alerts for additional exciting discoveries. With each new discovery, they grew closer to deciphering the armor Samuel Ball. Drayton and his companions initially uncovered a piece of chain buried in the ground, but as they continued their investigation, they eventually uncovered a small copper and bronze ring. They persevered, confident that they were on the correct track, and uncovered a coin that could be hundreds of years old. Samuel Ball, one of the wealthiest residents of Oak Island, owned 36 acres of the island. Did cabbage cultivation contribute to this wealth? Or maybe Ball discovered a treasure? These discoveries could represent a minor portion of the Oak Island treasure ball. Gary Drayton, a metal detecting specialist, and Charles Burkhouse, an Oak Island historian, continue their investigation of Samuel Ball's property in Season 4, Episode 8, The Mystery of Samuel Ball, where they make a number of intriguing discoveries. The first item that Drayton and Burkhouse discover is a gentleman button, which is commonly found on 1700s clothing. They soon unearth numerous King George II coins from the 18th century, as well as a lead ingot used to create musket balls. Drayton hypothesizes that these artifacts are the remnants of a military camp, after uncovering what appears to be an engraved metal tag from the bottom of a handgun. Were these campers from the 18th century searching for forgotten wealth or abandoning it? In the 1700s, the only thing that can be said with absolute certainty is that Oak Island was extremely active. In Blood is Thicker, Episode 15 of Season 4 of The Curse of Oak Island, Gary employs a metal detector to examine the objects Rick and Marty Lagina had unearthed at the Gal 1 excavation site. They initially assume it to be a coin, but quickly realize that the word plated is engraved on it. Dr. Laurie Vanderlande, an expert in antique valuation, examined this spherical object and concluded that it was most likely a gold-plated button from a 17th or 18th century British military uniform. When the Lagina brothers discover a large metal hinge with drill marks in the same location, this becomes considerably more plausible. Dr. Vanderlande examined it and concluded that it was from the same time period. Even more intriguing is the fact that it was frequently used as a hinge on treasure chests. Even if it originated from a ship that used the hinge for a different purpose, it is still a very intriguing discovery because it raises the question of what lies beneath Oak Island. In Dead Man's Chest, the second episode of the 5th season, Gary Drayton and his metal detecting team once again discover evidence of 17th century participation on the island, which may have been caused by the military, pirates, or both. Soon after discovering a 17th century musket projectile which was used in cannons, they find what appears to be a Maravedi, which is identical to the one found in the Season 1 finale, The Find. This coin is unique because it has been cut into tiny pieces. Oak Island entered a new era when the dust subsided and the significance of the discovery became apparent. The long-held legend had finally come true, permanently altering the fate of the island. Oak Island. Specific museums, exhibits, and research facilities have emerged, revealing the island's enthralling history and incredible discovery story. The Oak Island treasure symbolized human perseverance and the ceaseless pursuit of the unknown. It served as a monument to the ability of the human spirit to solve even the most difficult challenges. The island's name would endure in the annals of exploration and treasure hunting, inspiring future generations to investigate unresolved mysteries. Remember to subscribe to the channel for additional blues from the mysterious universe. Today, Oak Island is still a fascinating destination where tourists can follow in the footsteps of the early explorers by exploring the money pit's depths and witnessing the astounding discovery that forever altered the course of human history. The island serves as a reminder that there are still mysteries to be solved, secrets to be uncovered, and hidden treasures in the most unlikely places. The island serves as a reminder that there are still mysteries to be solved, secrets to be uncovered, and hidden treasures in the most unlikely places. Tap the video links that appear as there is much to learn about Oak Island. Click now and we'll meet you there in a moment.